Chapter 3, Genma.
We're pretty close to the next town. Let's restock on anything we've lost,
said Genma.
You're faster than me, right?
Asked Mjerky. Raising an eyebrow, Genma replied.
Well yeah, I'd say so. Why?
Well, how about I go around, you get the supplies, and catch up. It'll save time that way,
said Mjerky.
Okay. Sounds good.
As they approached the city, Genma ran in, and Mjerky ran left going around the city. Coming to a stop, Genma looked around for the store.
Excuse me, sir. You're ordered to quickly leave before the master arrives to town,
said a soldier dressed in black.
Ugh, fine, but at least let me get some supplies before I go,
replied Genma. The soldier nodded and hurried Genma to a shuriken shop.
Here we are. Thanks for taking me here,
said Genma.
No problem. Just get your stuff and hurry off,
said the soldier as he rushed off. Looking around, Genma noticed oddly shaped shuriken and asked the store owner.
Hey, why are they shaped like this?
Giving a miserable sigh, the owner replied.
That's because they were made that way. They can be thrown, and they can do something else, but I wasn't paying attention.
Ugh. What a clueless store owner,
Genma thought to himself.
Fine, I'll take a bag of those and 3 bags of normal shuriken.
The store owner packed up the shuriken and handed them to Genma, then took the money from him. A voice shouted outside of the store somewhere.
He's here. Everyone clear way. Our new great clan leader Shu.
What? Shu? He's here,
thought Genma to himself as he rushed outside. He ran up to a man and asked,
Where's Shu? Do you know?
Yeah, over there,
the man said, pointing. Genma nodded and dashed off in that direction. At the sight of him, Genma stopped immediately, shocked. He stared for a minute, calmed down, then shouted out,
Shuanuka.
The crowd gasped and Shu along with his guards all stopped and looked back.
Genma,
said Shu fiercely.
Guards, attack that betrayer.
I'm not fighting you guys. This is between me and him,
said Genma to himself. One guard stood back hesitating.
What's your problem? Attack that man, you fool,
said Shu angrily.
I'm not. If he was an enemy he'd have killed us already, and he treated me no different than any normal person,
said the soldier proudly. Shu screamed aloud and shoved him off to the side.
What the?
Said Shu as he noticed the soldiers all tied up. One of them, however, managed to cut the rope, and all hurled towards Genma again. He turned around, stabbed the lone soldier in the chest and ran off.
Shu!
Screamed Genma as he rushed through the guards, slashing unforgivingly. One by one, Genma hacked down a guard until only 3 were left. He let them go and ran into the soldier that was stabbed.
Are you alright?
Asked Genma as he helped the soldier up.
For now. Thanks,
replied the soldier.
Someone get these guys to a hospital, and please ignore this fight. It's a personal battle between me and Shu,
demanded Genma as he ran off. About 7 people stepped up and helped the soldiers on their feet and to a hospital. After 2 minutes of straight running, 2 guards cut off his path and drew their swords. Genma grabbed 4 shuriken and flung one each at the soldiers' feet. Plunking into their ankles, the 2 soldiers tripped to the ground as Genma ran past them. Reaching a large building, Genma threw a giant shuriken at the door, busting it down. As he reached the inside, he pondered around seeing great art and sculptures.
Shu?
Said Genma. He went up a set of stairs and looked around. It was a small room and led into a large hallway. As he walked down the hall, he noticed pictures of ancient creatures and diagrams of stones. All of the pictures had a man in black armor with a different colored stone behind the creatures. As he approached the end of the long hallway, he heard a strange noise in the room ahead. Shaking a little, Genma approached the door slowly and listened closer.
God, where is that map?
Genma heard as more thumping continued. Genma got calm and put on an angry face. Kicking the door down, Genma screamed out.
This is your new clan building?
Shu jumped and said.
Oh, yeah, it needs some more work but it's good for now.
Genma stared blankly and said.
A clan building, with art.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? I finally have my beliefs on paper.
She replied.
Ugh, you still think you can seriously awaken those things? Look, you are too weak to even lead a clan, which is why I left. What makes you think you can awaken those things?
Said Genma. Walking across the room and rattling through his stuff, he replied.
Yes, I have an old map somewhere to what may be to those stones. Haven't had it in years, now I can't find it.
Genma looked at him and then looked away. Shu sneezed and stood up.
But seeing as how you wiped out my former followers, left my clan, and clearly don't trust me, I have no excuses to not fight you now.
He held up a yellow blue stone, making it glow.
Chaos control!
With blinding speed, he popped up behind Genma and gave an obliterating punch. Genma went flying through 4 walls and out of the building itself far back into the forest he came from. In midair, Sho appeared again and slammed Genma into the large rocks, smashing it to pieces. Genma lay there heavily bleeding, unable to move.
What is this power?
He managed to spit out slowly. Shu smiled and looked at the stone.
The Stone of Roaring. I found it years ago in an old cavern. So now you believe the legend really exists, huh?
Shu pressed the stone up to his wrist, making it seep into it. Shu's eyes grew a strange black outline around them, and a single black line going down from the middle of them. Shu smiled, baring sharp teeth, like a vampire. Shu clenched his fists, creating a red spherical ball of energy around it. Throwing his arm back about to strike, he was interrupted.
Shu, if you touch Genma, we'll kill you!
Shouted a man in a robe. 6 others in the same robe stood behind him.
The Sheriff Org. What do you want?
Said Shu as he put his hand down and the red died off.
We want you to get away from here and leave your hands off Genma.
Said Kisum.
What is he to you? All I see is a weakling.
Replied Shu. Genma slowly got up and pulled out the shuriken.
I am not. You freak.
Says Genma slowly. Mjerky appeared from a distance and watched.
What in the world is he doing down there? He looks really beat up.
We don't have to tell you anything!
Said Raikou.
Now get out of here! Now for fight!
Growling. Shu thought.
I can't fight them at this level. Damn it. Fine, whatever.
He said as he slowly walked off.
Genma! Getting into trouble! Okay!
Said Raikou smoothly.
Shut up. All of you. I won't join any of you, never.
Says Genma wobbling. He slammed onto the ground unconscious house.
Should we take him?
Asked a man with a black bandana and goggles.
I don't know. I guess we could always try him until he joins. Kakazu.
Replied another man.
No!
Snapped the leader.
You know very well, Hidden, that we can't make him join against his will. He's alive for now, so we'll come back some other time.
They all nodded in agreement and disappeared in a poof of smoke. Mjerky slid down a steep slope and ran towards Genma. As he slid to a stop, Genma jumped up and put his shuriken back in their holster.
Genma?
Screamed Mjerky, brushing the dust off his jacket, and said,
Huh?
I thought you were unconscious.
Said Mjerky.
I faked it so I could get some more info, instead of being nagged by those guys.
Replied Genma.
I saw you fly through the wall and then getting smashed into that rock. How can you still stand?
Said Mjerky, confused.
Dunno, doesn't hurt as much as I thought it would. Anyway, I got the shurikens for us.
Genma said, holding up 4 bags.
Forgot the food.
He said blankly. Mjerky's right eye twitched.
Well, let's go get some. I'm starving.
Genma handed 2 bags over to Mjerky and they took off back to the city.
So what was that all about back there?
Asked Mjerky.
Shu is back now in this city.
Said Genma.
He did that to you, but how did he get so strong?
Asked Mjerky.
He used some weird stone, I don't know.
Replied Genma.
But let's not worry about all of that right now, we're here.
They both slowed down to walking casually into the restaurant. The bartender screamed out.
You.
Genma froze and looked.
Thanks for helping us. You drove that annoying ninja away from us.
Giving a relieving sigh, Genma replied.
Oh, yeah, no problem. But he's still in the city.
Yeah, but we know how he works now, so we all quit working for him.
Replied the bartender. He put his arm out and said,
My name is Lanu Wishiter and I thank you for saving my life after getting stabbed in the chest.
Genma smiled and shook his hand.
Well, my name is Genma and his is Mizuki.
And we're hungry, damn it.
Snapped Mizuki. Genma gave a disappointed sigh and said,
Mizuki, you're so rude.
I'll have some ramen with a bagel,
said Mizuki.
Haha, the boy must be hungry. Coming right up,
said Lane.
And what will you have, Genma?
Genma looked at the man and said,
Same thing, I guess.
Lane nodded and walked off.
We still going to Vitality?
Asked Mizuki.
More than ever. We need to get stronger, and I'm sure they have ones on ancient training methods.
Replied Genma. Mizuki looked interested and nodded.
I just noticed something,
said Mizuki.
We never brought any money with us.
Genma chuckled as if having already known. Lane came up with the food and laid it out.
Can we get some bottles of water, please?
Asked Genma.
Sure,
said Lane. He walked off.
Okay, so when he brings back the water, pack it up after we finish eating, then we'll boot it.
Marked Genma. Mizuki nodded as if scared. He brought the water and laid it out on the table.
Man, we need you in here,
screamed the chef. Lane took off and Genma and Mizuki continued eating. They looked around and packed the water into small bags. They took their last few bites and ran off. Lane entered the room and squinted. Genma and Mizuki continued running. Cheering and applause was heard in the background.
What's that?
Asked Genma. Mizuki shrugged as they both ran off in the direction of the noise. Upon stopping, they noticed a crowd standing around a bunch of soldiers.
Today, a new general shall be born. These soldiers here are all our most elite soldiers about to participate in our free-for-all. The winner will be upgraded to general today. For our first time ever, we have a blader with us today. May he have much luck in this struggle,
announced a man.
A mere blade and shield?
Asked Genma.
That's not very effective these days compared to our new polearms and tools,
said Mizuki. Genma looked back down at the soldiers. There are 6 of them, 2 of them using twin daggers, and 3 using polearms. The lone blader stood there confident.
Go!
Screamed the announcer. They all clashed metal on and on. The first down is a twin dagger, then a polearm, then the other dagger. The 2 polearm users smirked.
He's pretty good for a blader,
one said. The both flung at the lone wolf. He smashed the polearm out of one man's hand with the shield, and smacked the other towards the other direction with the blade. In a flash he side jumped toward the first polearm and stabbed him in the chest. He was down for good now. The other slammed his polearm down on the man's shield and followed it up with fierce constant slams against the man. Finally blocking them off, the man did a front flip, smacking the polearm back, then side spun to hit again. Running at full speed, the man flung his shield at the other's face, easily reflected with the polearm. When he looked, the blader was gone. From behind, the blader gave 3 strong slashes, then a kick behind the neck, knocking the guy out. The crowd looked shocked. Seconds later, mass applause was heard all over.
Wow, what a match. Let's give this guy some more cheer. The first blader in years to become general,
screamed the announcer. The announcer walked over to the blader.
You know, we don't have a general blade at the moment,
whispered the announcer.
I figured,
the man said, disappointed. A small river of fire flowed from behind a building. Stopping next to the winner, the fire crackled out into the shape of a man and cleared up. The crowd gasped.
What's an elemental doing here?
Panicked Mizuki. The elemental smiled and pulled out a blade.
I believe you deserve this, my friend.
He handed it to the man.
Why are you here, elemental?
Whispered the announcer.
Someone had to give him the blade. Besides, I have a name,
replied the elemental.
Fine, Lamb,
said the announcer. Lane smiled and disappeared. Appearing behind Genma and Mizuki, he sat down.
It looks like we're caught,
said Genma. Jerky jumped as he noticed Lane behind him. Smiling, Lane said,
Running out on a check isn't nice.
Lan,
said Jerky.
when your hair turn red?
Shaking his head, Genma said,
He's an elemental in disguise. And a very good actor. So you were in his army to find out about him?
Lane nodded.
He said once the time's right, he'll head to the Forgotten City and do what's needed.
There was a long silence.
Who?
Asked Genma. Lane's head dropped.
Shoo.
Genma's head flinched as if brought back to existence.
Right. Right. So where's this Forgotten City?
I have no idea,
replied Shu. Jerky jumped in, saying,
Maybe the library will tell us.
Genma and Lane nodded in agreement and all ran off. After about 30 minutes in, a shadow was seen following them.
Goritsim, let's head down to the center of the canyon.
They nodded and all ran down. A trail of thunder fell from the sky, smacking the ground next to Lane. Erupting from the smoke came a man in yellow with an elegant blade designed with blue markings and its base made of crystal.
Hi Lane,
he said.
Mizo, why are you here?
Lane asked. Mizo looked behind him and saw a man in black armor with 2 small scythes.
Looks like you'll need help with him, the Dark Elemental,
said Mizo slowly. Lane smiled and said,
Right. Mizuki, Genma, keep going. This is our battle. I'll catch up soon.
They hesitated but soon ran off.